Hey guys, welcome back to today's time pass. So in this video we are going to see about a story from grade 7 NCERT English honeycomb book. Come, let's get into the story. The thought came to the king that if he knew the answers for the three questions, he would never fail in life. And those three questions are: what is the right time to begin something? Which people should he listen to? What is the most important thing for him to do? So, to get answer for these three questions, he sent his messengers throughout his kingdom. Who answer his questions will be offered by a large sum of money. Many wise men came and answered for his questions differently. Some wise men, for his first question, answered that the king must create a timetable and follow it strictly. Only in this way, they said, could he do everything at its proper time? Others said it is impossible to decide the right time in advance, and some said he should notice everything and avoid foolish pleasures. Yet others said that the king need a counselor to make him act at the right time. This idea was said because one man would find it impossible to find the right time for doing an action. But then some others said that in time of urgency we cannot wait for the reply of counselor. So, to act at the right time, we must look into our future, and only magicians would find it possible. So, therefore, the king should go to magicians. Next, in answer to the second question, some said that the most important person for king is counselors. Some said doctors, others said priests, and then yet others said that the important person for the king is his soldiers. In answer to the third question, some chose fighting, and others said science, and yet others said religious worship. The answers of the questions were so different, the king was not satisfied with the answers and gave no rewards. Instead, he decided to seek the advice from a hermit who was widely known for his wisdom. The hermit lived in the wood that he never left. The king saw only simple people with ordinary clothes. So the king wore ordinary clothes and left the horse with the bodyguards and gone alone. The king saw the hermit digging the ground in front of his house. The hermit greeted the king and continued digging. The king said, "Hermit, I have come to get the answer of my three questions," and repeated those questions once again. The hermit listened to the king and again continued to dig the ground. The hermit was too old and weak, so he breathed heavily, and the king said that the hermit, "Hermit, give me the spade, I will dig the ground." And then hermit said, "Thanks," and gave the spade to the king. When the king dug two beds, he once again repeated the questions, and even now the hermit did not give any answers, just stood up, raised his hands for the spade, and said, "Now you rest, I will dig." But the king didn't give him the spade and continued to dig. Then 1 hour passed by. The king said to the hermit, "Wise hermit, I came to you to get an answer for my questions. If you do not know, please tell me, I would leave home." "Here comes someone running," said the hermit. A bearded man came running towards the king by holding his stomach along with the hands by bleeding. The bearded man fainted when he reached near the king. The king and the hermit removed the man's clothing and saw a big wound in his stomach. The king covered it with an handkerchief, but the bleeding didn't stop. So he again redressed the wound, and the sun was set. The king and the hermit made the man lie inside the hermit's hut. As the king was also working so hard to dug the ground, he was so tired and he too lay down in the hut. Next morning, when the king woke up, it took some time for him to recognize where he is and who is the bearded man. When the bearded man noticed that the king was awoke, he said to the king, "Dear king, please forgive me," and wished for the forgiveness from the king. The king was shocked and asked the bearded man, "Who are you and why are you asking me to forgive?" Then the bearded man replied, "You do not know me, but I knew you. I am that enemy of yours who swore revenge on you because you have put my brother into death and seized my property. So I tried to kill you when I came to know that you are going to meet the hermit. But a day passed by and you stayed here. So to kill you today, I came upon with your bodyguards who recognized and wounded me. And then you were the person who saved my life today. So only I am wishing for your forgiveness," said the bearded man. Then the relationship of the bearded man and king had a peace. So finally the king was to leave the hermit's hut, and one last time the king went to the hermit to at least get the answer for his 3 questions. When the king asked the hermit replied, "You have already got the answers for your questions." The king was shocked and asked the hermit, "What are you saying, hermit? When did you say me?" The hermit said, "Do you not see? If you have not pitied for me yesterday, you would have not dug the ground and then would have been killed by the bearded man, and you would wished to stay with me. At that moment, I was the important person, and taking care for me is important business for you. When the bearded man came by bleeding, he was the important person for you, and dressing his wound is important business for you. Remember that the only time which is important is that now. The most important person is the person who is with you at that particular time, and the most important business is to care people, because we people are sent to this world for that purpose only. So the moral of the story is, the important time is now. The important person is the person who is with you at that particular time. The important business for you is that the person who is with you at that particular time, you have to care for them. Thank you for watching. Please do like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel.